After a one-year hiatus, a neighborhood rivalry is back on the schedule. The Towson Tigers make the short trip from York Road over to Homewood Field to take on a Johns Hopkins Blue Jays team looking to get the sour taste of defeat out of their mouths from this past Saturday. Welcome in, everybody. Mark Dixon joined by Quint, Kessenich. And when you think about Towson and Hopkins, great neighborhood rivalry that has had some great games over the years.
School separated by about 5 miles up Charles Street, and Towson really stands for toughness. If you're Hopkins, man, you got a bad taste in your mouth after a horrific loss on Saturday. Good news, it's a quick turnaround. We got matinee lacrosse on a Tuesday.
Yeah, you can't beat it. Glad you could join us here this afternoon. Jacob Angelis, the leader of this Johns Hopkins attack. He was really, really good on Saturday.
He was. He had 6 points. I thought what stood out was his feet. He just moves so smoothly and effortlessly. He's really the quarterback of this motion offense, this positionless offense. I just thought the Blue Jays need to get him more touches in the fourth quarter.
This is a Towson team with a lot of new faces in different positions, but a returner and a very talented young player resides for them in the midfield.
That's Mikey Weisshower. He's a sophomore now out of Spalding, which is a school down by Annapolis. He had a really strong freshman year. I love his ability to get to the rack. Okay, he's explosive. He can get down low with a two-handed cradle and get inside the defense. He'll be Towson's best playmaker today.
Logan Callahan and Matt Constantinitis set to get things going here at Homewood Field. Constantinitis, an all-CAA performer the last couple years. There is a violation to start things off. Hopkins will enjoy the first possession of this afternoon. Today's officials, Peter Buchanan, Jason Bourne, and Michael Kleeblatt. As Johns Hopkins, it's a team that ran a lot of midfielders on Saturday. We see Grimes, Bauer, and Peshko starting off this game. Dylan Bauer works it behind Garrett Degnan. Short stick defense of Ray Glass, one of the captains of this Towson Tiger team. Bauer gets doubled up the Degnan shot. Rocket. Hopkins is out quickly, 1-0.
The band's all here on a Tuesday. Cold and crisp and bright. Degnan's one of the captains. To tell you, after that loss, Peter Millman entered the locker room, and it was Degnan and the other captain, Bo Zulik, who said, no, coach, we're not ready for you. You own it, you move on, you make the adjustments. Degnan, known for his outside shot. He's got vicious velocity.
That is the new starting goaltender for Towson, Luke Downs. A rude welcome to college lacrosse. 32 games in a row now for Garrett Degnan with a goal in his career. Big one for the Blue Jays to get them rolling here against the Towson Tigers. Another face-off win for Hopkins. Gets them a possession. Brooks English. Hopkins weaving up top. This is Degnan. A lot of motion up top. Degnan steps away from the defensive pressure of Joe Petro of Towson. Ball on the carpet. Hopkins came up with it momentarily. Towson dislodges it. They come up with a big ground ball. Tigers looking to clear.
Colby Bars, 23, captain, big tall defender from Weddington, North Carolina, makes a nice play. That was kind of a force by the Blue Jays, and Towson does a good job. They swarm the grounder.
Towson with the gold jerseys, black shorts, black helmets. Hopkins wearing their home whites and the blue helmets and shorts. First midfield unit checking into the contest for Towson. This is Chop Gallagher, a senior out of Portland, Oregon. This first midfield unit, Quint, is going to get a lot of activity here in this game. Josh Weber, number 12.
He can run, got great wheels.
Guarded by Brett Martin, number 1 short stick D midi for Johns Hopkins. This is Weisshower. Good split to his right hand. Shot goes wide. backed up by the Tigers.
Weishauer and 12 Weber, very shifty, both of them.
Joaquin Villagomez on the restart, sophomore, 6'6", out of Severna Park. DeMayo looks inside, ball is knocked up into air, bodies go flying, no stoppage of play. Hopkins comes up with it. Martin had it for a second. He loses it. DeMayo then gets it taken out of his cross. Hopkins, Scott Smith gobbles it up. Tough ground ball. Blue Jays looking to clear. Efficient clear by Johns Hopkins. That's Jacob Staubner, transfer from Princeton. It's an area that really failed them in the fourth quarter against Denver on Saturday.
Yeah, Stabner, graduate student now from Austin, Texas. Kind of a veteran guy, slides really well. We didn't call his name much on Saturday, which is a good sign. He was the fourth man in when he was a Princeton Tiger, and now he's starting here at Homewood.
McDermott draws a slide, kicks it behind to Dylan Bauer. Bauer working on that shorty. Inside roll, Ray Glass does a good job of keep his man on the outside. 20 seconds on the shot clock.
Towson in the man-to-man defense. Hopkins hits you with a lot of movement. A lot of player movement, a lot of ball movement.
Feed down low. Ryan Evans whistles it high. Possession stays with the Blue Jays with 12 seconds to shoot.
Great closeout by Sam Moore in 44, the big defender from Garnet Valley, PA.
He is a leader on this Towson team, just a junior. Shot goes wide, doesn't hit anything. No shot clock reset. 3 seconds left for Hopkins to work with. We'll see if they elect to attack or just chuck it in the corner and retreat to ride. And that's exactly what Johns Hopkins does. Good defensive stand by the Tigers.
Love the D. That all comes down to winning your matchup on the perimeter, and Towson does a good job man on man. Hopkins offense will put pressure on you because of the movement. It can be dizzying at times. Your responsibility as a defender changes quite a bit. You go from perimeter to inside to wing.
Bars gets it over the midfield line. Gets it up to Reese Potter. Back over to Alex Roussel. This is the second midfield unit for Towson checking into the game. Number 20 is Jamison Gaskins. Number 33 is Austin Dukaman. Two really big bodies for Coach Sean Nadalin. Roussel spins, gets his hands free. Burns the worm and sticks it. Low to low, Alex Roussel. The 5'8" sophomore out of Toronto, Ontario, ties things up at 1.
He's got all sorts of energy and grit, known for his savviness, and you'll see it here. Watch the righty roll back here. Press the middle, he rolls back for his left, but he's got so much time, he can switch back to his right. And here comes the Rooster.
Roussel, affectionately called the Rooster by head coach Sean Nadalin, said when he was recruiting him out of the Hill Academy in Canada, he talked to Hill coach Brody Merrill, and he said he plays with jam, the Canadian term for grit. He had some jam there, ties the game up for Towson. Constantinides wins the faceoff, but is called for a violation. Possession over to the Blue Jays.
Dixie, that's a case defensively. When that man rolls back and you see the numbers in the back of his jersey or the name across, you got to go as the adjacent defender. It's almost an automatic, because in most cases that's a lefty shot, but he had so much time on his rollback that he could switch back to his comfortable right hand.
Well, you were here on Saturday for the Hopkins-Denver game. What did you see out of the Hopkins defense late in that fourth quarter? It wasn't terrible, but there were some holes that Denver was able to expose.
Well, I for the most part, I thought for the first 35 minutes, Hopkins played good D.
And there's your guy right there, Quint. Jacob Angelis, quicker than a hiccup, just takes his matchup from behind the cage, gets topside. Hopkins regains the lead, 2-1.
Righty grad student. He's got wheels and he's tough. And here he turns the corner, gets tripped up late. 6 points against Denver, had 61 points a year ago, and somehow this guy is ignored nationally when you're talking about some of the top players in the country. I think he's ultra consistent. I think he's really smart.
Angeles replies, Quint, 39 seconds after the Towson goal. Bodies flying here on University Parkway.
Yeah, this game's always spirited, okay? You got, if you don't know Baltimore, you got Hopkins here in North Baltimore. Up the road by, what, a mile is Loyola University, and about 2.5 miles north of Loyola is Towson. So these players know each other socially. Obviously, many of them played high school lacrosse together or against each other, but it is, you're just around it, and this rivalry means something here in this town.
No doubt. And it took a break last year. Neither program able to find a suitable date to play one another, but it was a priority for both Peter Milliman of Hopkins, Sean Nadelin of Towson to get it back on the docket. Shot and a goal, and there you see another answer from the Rooster. Excuse me, that is Weishauer, Mikey Weishauer, with a very similar move to his teammate Alex Roussel, but he gets in the middle of the field, pots it. We're tied at 2.
Towson bringing great energy off the bus and spirit. Weishauer, highly recruited. I mean, everybody wanted this kid out of Spalding. Look, here's the left-handed. He just gets top side. That's a poor defensive angle. You've got a D up on his upfield shoulder to make him go underneath or to his right. As you take a look at Sean Nadelin, who's been the head coach here since 2012. This is a Towson program, remember. 2017 Final Four championship weekend, 16 and 17 quarterfinals, NCAAs. They hosted a game in 2019. I mean, you could argue in the last 10 years, they've had more postseason success than the Blue Jays.
Yeah, and Nadelin spent his time here, started out as he's a defenseman.
Hard-nosed defender.
Started out as a short stick defensive midfielder, then became an All-American, and then an All-U.S. player, U.S. national team. Tore his ACL, Quint, in the tryouts, made the team, and 6 months later was on the field in England, helping the USA win a gold medal. That's toughness. Weishauer drills the iron.
Wow, he painted that corner.
What a quick release.
And Hopkins gets the run out. But, you know, this team, when they're good, they kind of mirror the identity of their head coach, Sean Nadelin. Sean's from upstate New York, Rochester area.
Henrietta, yeah.
Hard as nails, a complete workaholic worker, man of few words. He's going to show up and kick your butt.
No doubt.
This shot was unbelievable. Nearly scintillating, but not.
Man, style points, yes. A goal on the scoreboard, no. But Towson has come to play. They were very impressive in their lone scrimmages against Bucknell and Wagner. And they've had a while to think about this game. They did not scrimmage this past weekend, Quint, so.
No, and there's a little bit of a disadvantage now. Hopkins coming off a game. They had some experience. Blue Jay lost. You knew they'd bring the heat early, and Towson's matched that. So I think if you look at the first 5 minutes of this game, or first 7 minutes of this game, advantage Towson, because you knew the Blue Jays would come out here with an attitude.
When you look at this game, and then for the first 3 quarters of the way the Denver game was going, and it was physical and it was up and down, you're like, okay, is this game more of a nuisance? But this is a blessing for Johns Hopkins, being able to play so quick after that Denver loss. Step down shot and a goal. Russell Melendez. High heat paints the corner. Hopkins regains the lead.
Picks up his second assist, the senior from Park City, Utah. He's dialing it up from behind the net. Bauer with the eyes. Melendez, step down city.
Congratulations to Matt Brown, his first win as the head coach of the Denver Pioneers. Nightmare fuel if you're Peter Milliman. But he was upbeat yesterday talking to us about the opportunity in front of us here, in front of them today.
You know, you think about it, you only can move forward. It's the next play, the next shot, the next ground ball, the next stop that Hopkins needs to take care of. They came in on Sunday, had meetings and film. And the players took ownership, and I think it's a good sign that the attack has shown up early here. You got 3 Hopkins goals. Degnan, Angeles, Melendez, the known quantities.
Great point. Angeles had 6 points on Saturday, but Melendez and Degnan were both held to a goal and assist apiece.
Dixie, I had to go home and watch that last 5 minutes of that Denver game 3 times to fully comprehend.
Right.
There were so many situations: extra man, man down face-offs, shot clock situations, time and clock management. Should they have called a timeout here and there? It was a fascinating game.
It really
and I thought both teams actually handled it extremely well, especially for week 0 in their first game. Obviously, Hopkins didn't make enough plays. I felt they were 1 play away from winning. 1 clear, 1 ground ball, 1 save.
Right.
Credit Denver. Down 4, never gave up. Couldn't sleep, though. I mean, this how cool is this game? I mean, this lacrosse is awesome. The way things can turn quickly and change within a game.
Shot clock, pace of play, 3rd turnover for Towson. And they're going to get a bailout as Bo Zulik shoves a Towson player.
It's a smart play by Chop Gallagher, okay? Get there first around the grounders and good things happen. He gets there, decelerates, and Zulik just plows him over from behind.
First midfield unit back on the field after Hopkins' 3rd turnover of the game. Josh Weber.
Blue Jays' Brandon Aviles, number 10 in white in the game now. He did not play against Denver.
Yeah, Peter Millman told us in our conversation with him that he was hoping Aviles could play some to take the pressure off of mostly Juronsky, number 77 in white, and Brett Martin, who Aviles is in the game for right now.
Hopkins ran out of gas in that game at that position specifically because Martin and Juronsky played almost every shift in the 4th quarter. If you're going to play 8 offensive middies, don't you have to play more than 2 defensive midfielders?
4 is that magic number. Hopkins relied heavily on Martin and Juronsky. Step-in shot, gobbled up initially by Erlin. And here's Aviles. Transfer from Syracuse, nifty ground ball. Showed his quickness and soft hands, picking that one off of the carpet. Hopkins now looking to clear. That's tough, right on the sideline.
He's out of bounds. This is not where you want to be.
No.
You do not want to be clearing up the camera side, the stadium side, near the substitution box, okay? Nothing good happens if you're the clearing team here. You clear it up the University Parkway side on the far side of the field, where you see the sirens, where you see the apartment buildings. You clear it up that side of the field.
The colonnade, great place across the way.
The Polo Grill used to be the spot.
The fried lobster tail was ridiculous. That was Jimmy Ayers put in a no-win situation as Carson Brown applies.
It's not Jimmy's fault.
Right,
it's the defender who gave him the ball. And when Jimmy receives that, he's got to throw it directly back to that defender saying, no, take it out the other side.
Towson with a mishandle right there. Their 4th turnover. That was Villagomez with trouble handling the ball. This is a Towson attack. DeMayo, Villagomez, and Bodie Maurer getting the start. Their 3rd starter would have been Ryan Schreier. He is out right now, nicked up a little bit.
Towson in a 3-3, just a zone ride there, but they're clogging up the middle of the field pretty effectively. Hopkins finally found their proper spacing and kind of creased them for the clear.
Yeah, good adjustment, spreading the field out, not trying to jam it up that near sideline, to your point. Ayers still in the game, gets it over to Bauer. Bauer has been a playmaker thus far in this contest. This is Hunter Chavette. He had a debut worth remembering, 3 goals, all of the brilliant variety. First Blue Jay to have 3 goals in his debut since Shaq Stanwyck back in 2015. That one didn't look like it didn't make it to the cage, but Hopkins is able to corral a ground ball. Shot clock did not reset. 20 seconds to shoot for the Blue Jays.
He's got that lefty laser like you had, Dixie.
Lefty, I was allergic to my left hand. Shot and a goal, it's Brooks English. Just cruises above goal line extended and whips it far post. Excuse me, that is Jacob Angeles. Angeles with a beautiful goal. He scored one curling around left. Now he comes cruising right. Blue Jays extend their lead to 2.
Right-handed exclamation point dodge where he's running away from the goal, creates enough separation that his hands are free, and then fires that overhand to the far post. As you take a look at his bio, Chantilly, Virginia, he's already got his degree. I love his consistency. Dixie, he brings it every single week. He doesn't have, like, he plays such a clean style, you know what I mean? Like,
there's not one thing that he's great at.
No.
He's good at a lot of different things.
And he rarely makes, like, blatant mistakes with his turnovers, his decision-making. I think he's a pro prospect. I think at the pro level in the PLL, he may have to play midfield, but he's going to be a matchup nightmare because, again, he's got really a good burst, and he's so smooth.
How about his candor after the loss on Saturday as well? Just interviewed right after the game and stepped right up and just said,
you know, I didn't love what he said about admitting that Hopkins got tired. I think that's something that you want to keep in-house. But when you play here, you know, you're going to have cameras shoved in your face after a game. I would prefer to him maybe giving Denver credit, and then you take that in the locker room and say, hey, guys, we have some guys who got tired. We've got to get in better shape. Because by saying that, I think he kind of insinuated that Denver worked harder than us during the offseason. But, again, he's a college athlete. There's cameras in your face right after a game like that.
Yeah.
And you learn. He wasn't incorrect. They had, and not the whole team tired. They had a couple guys on defense in the fourth quarter who played so much that they kind of ran out of gas.
Right. Erlin makes a nice stop on the defense for Johns Hopkins, making his second save. Just over a minute left to go here in the first quarter.
And Mark, on that regard, to me, it's a little bit on the coaching staff at times there, because Hopkins played so much defense in that fourth quarter against Denver that you had to realize that running 12 Martin and Juronsky 77 out of the box for every shift eventually was like not the thing to do. You've got to sense, how are your legs? You communicate with those players. I need a shift off, coach, and to develop depth at crunch time.
Well, and as exclusive as they were at short stick D mid, you hit earlier, offensively, I mean, it looked like a club game. Them just running guys. It looked like no cohesion, no chemistry, just running guys in. No real lines or units and I understand that you want to figure out who your guys are, but in crunch time, you have to kind of figure that and keep those guys together.
I don't mind it first game of the year, but then again, in the fourth quarter, you think about it like an NBA game. You're starting 5, you sub in the middle of the game. The last 2 minutes of the game, you go back to your starting 5.
Yeah.
And the studs need to be on the field at the end of the game.
Towson looking to get back to within 1. It's Weber shooting the ball wide. 13 seconds left to go here in the first quarter. Villagomez being guarded by Quentin Kilrain, good-looking freshman for Johns Hopkins. Villagomez posts him up, shot goes wide, backed up by Towson. 4.8 ticks left on the clock. Weishauer, he's going to go right to the cage. Carson Brown does a nice job getting his stick in. Weishauer is able to tiptoe the crease, but it looked like he was in the goal mouth.
Looked like that right glove landed in the goal mouth.
No goal. Appropriately called by the officials. What a move by Weishauer. And if that goal mouth isn't there, we're looking at a 4-3 game. End of the first quarter. Action-packed. Towson started 2 out of 3 on shooting, 0 for their last 6, including this one. Watch the right hand. Officials are on top, and they make the correct call. Play is available here today, but had Sean Nadelin challenged that, he would have lost that challenge based on no flag, no push. Good job by Carson Brown to actually kind of pull back a little bit. A lot of times defenders in that instance extend their hands.
Yes, good point. And nice job by the officials, too. Peter Buchanan, as you said, Jason Bourne. Jason Bourne is reffing this game.
That's right.
But those crease calls, to me, are the hardest because there's a lot going on. You need your eyes in two places. One guy's following the ball. The other's watching feet. You got to watch for the push. It's really complicated stuff, so they did a nice job.
It really is the toughest sport to officiate when you consider the space of 3 men covering 110 yards, the size, athleticism, everything about it. But the right call. Hopkins just won a face-off. Towson had won 4 in a row. The teams are now even at 4 apiece at the dot.
Great ride by Hopkins, because Towson had that. Let's see which way this stays with Hopkins. So good hustle by the Blue Jays. Towson's working hard on defense. They're scrapping for it, but you got to handle the first-time grounders coming out.
First game of the year, and I know they had a scrimmage or two, but playing against a live ride is much different in a game atmosphere.
Yes, it is. And it's funny because I remember my first game and the first ride I faced, and my elbow got hacked to the point of a huge contusion. And I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, oh, this is game speed? I get it now.
I'm sure our man John Belaski took good care of you.
Well, it's the concept that every inch of the field is like valued and not given up for free.
Nice backdoor cut by Chevette.
And honestly, I see high school players struggling with that phase of the game when they come from club summer ball, where a lot of times riding is not a facet in that game. Guys just run off and run on.
Yeah.
In the college game, you don't give up ground to anybody without a fight.
I mean, think back to Virginia, 2018. They won a national championship basically through their ride.
Notre Dame last year. The Kavanaughs, they're not giving you a free pass to get upfield.
10 seconds. Collison slips inside. Shot just goes wide. Collison using that big body of his to get leverage. Honorable mention All-American in 2023, the 6'4" sophomore out of Scarborough, Ontario. Only 5 seconds left to shoot for Hopkins. We'll see what they elect to do. They're already subbing their defensive personnel onto the field.
5 seconds, you can't go to the rack to try to draw a penalty?
That's what I thought Chevette was heading towards, but
you'd like to have an attackman back there who could put some pressure at least on the defense, draw a foul, get north the goal line extended and get a shot that hits the goalie, and maybe you get a restart. I thought, again, with 6 seconds to go on the ball in the end line.
Make a run, yeah.
It's conservative.
6th turnover for Johns Hopkins. Glass does a great job of soaking the checks from Hopkins' long stick midfielder. Patrick Deans gets below the restraining line, and we have a timeout for Towson. 4-2, the Blue Jays leading the Tigers. Carl Runk led the Towson Tigers to a 9-8 double overtime win, with John Blatchley feeding Glenn Smith for the game-winning goal.
It's a very, very talented Towson team. Tony Millen, Rob Scheck, Lindsey Dixon, David Linthicum in between the pipes, Ronnie Klausner. We beat them again the next. Hopkins beat them in 90. I don't know how, because they were much better than us. And then Towson played for the national championship in 1991.
91, yeah. And Towson here, after they're missing their last 6 shots, they find pay dirt, and it is their money man, Mikey Weishauer. What an individual effort.
He's got to burst, and the green light is always on for Weishauer. Behind the net, left-handed, gets underneath, switches to his right, and he's just playing too fast for the Hopkins defense, okay? And right now, if you're Jamison Kester, the defensive coordinator, I think you've learned that we got to be ready to help and support and double-team Weishauer. We got to make him a passer, because he's just too quick in space.
First goal for Towson in just under 12 minutes.
And a great timeout. Great timeout by Coach Nadalin prior to that possession.
We knew this was going to be a tight battle. This is a rivalry that was halted last year. Both coaches made it a priority to get it back on the schedule. Here comes Roussel, and he gets stripped at midfield.
Oh, look out, look out!
McDermott with a tough ground ball. Whistle in the middle of the field. We've got an offsides against Towson. So Hopkins will get possession.
tell you, those situations when you're hovering over a ground ball, Mark, and you scoop it up, but you don't have any momentum, you're not going anywhere, and you know you're just a target, man. And you can feel the sticks coming from both sides. They're gonna collide with your elbows, or you feel the big bodies that suddenly become shadows. You'd much rather be in those packs and scoop up a ball with some momentum to space.
And able to turn and get away from pressure.
But you scoop up a ball flat-footed, you're dead meat.
Bauer with the feet inside, mishandled momentarily by Grimes. Shot looks like Down's got a piece of it. Shot clock does reset. Ball stays on the ground, shoots out to the sideline. Bauer is able to chase it down. Hopkins, because they did hit the goaltender, get a reset of the shot clock.
Good job by Bauer. That was Peshko's shot originally. I thought Jonathan had a strong game against Denver. Oh, that should be a penalty against Melendez for shooting that at the goal, and Towson's bench is livid. I agree. Whistle blows. You do not fling the ball at the goaltender.
That is a recipe to, if the goalie doesn't come out and beat you up, the other jerseys will. Good discipline by Towson. They wanted either a delay a game or unsportsmanlike on Melendez. They don't get it. Nice give and go right there. Weishauer, he has been as good as advertised so far in this game. DeMeo has been incredibly quiet. Hasn't had many touches. He is a volume shooter. Chop Gallagher gets the Hopkins defense on a rotation. There's the open man. His shot rings off the crossbar. Unlucky for the Tigers. Zulik picks up the ground ball and chugs it out of the defensive zone.
That was a 5-on-5 offensive possession because Towson's LSM, Colby Barr, stayed on the field and played hangman. Towson got great ball movement going, and that ball ricochets off the crossbar, bounces down on the playing surface in front of the goal line. We've seen those scenarios where the ball kicks inside the goal and then backspins out.
Yeah. Second pipe of the game for Towson, one in each quarter. Brooks English gives it a go, dishes it off to Jimmy Ayers. Bauer being heavily marked by Connor Spagnoli. Hopkins again rotating a lot of midfielders. Spagnoli fighting for that ground ball.
Get it going your way. Get it going your way in these packs.
Dylan Bauer comes up with another tough ground ball. Timeout called by Peter Milliman with 19 seconds left on the shot clock, but he preserves possession for the Blue Jays to try to get a crack at their 5th tally of the game.
Love that defense by Connor Spagnoli, the junior from Southlake, Texas.
And here are some news and notes coming out of week 0. What stood out to you, Quint?
Colgate upsetting Penn State in Panzer Stadium. Hopkins just an epic last 5 minutes of that game against Denver. And Maryland getting by a very good Richmond team this year in overtime. Syracuse is 2-0 now. I watched their game last night against Colgate. Joey Spallina and the Orange, very entertaining on offense, much improved at the face-off dot. And then Loyola, I watched that game on Monday night. All these games are available on ESPN Plus on your app. I thought Loyola, look, you were at the game, Mark. Your son plays for Loyola. I thought their offense played with uncommon connectivity early in the season. Adam Patra, James was on fire. Binney played well. Higgins, they were sharing the ball, moving, and their shooting was on target.
Yeah, got
vicious shots.
Yeah, got 13 goals out of their starting attack of Evan James, Adam Patra, and Matt Minikis. Luke Stout played well between the pipes. That's a young Georgetown team that is going to keep getting better.
Yeah, I agree. So Georgetown, you watch it, very talented. I think they play Hopkins on Saturday. They do. So Pete Milliman will see Georgetown. I love their freshman goalie, Anderson Moore, but man, the game's moving fast for him. He's a great athlete. Georgetown has a long way to go in terms of some of their schemes. I like their parts on offense, but again, not playing cohesive. It's early. Right. Not playing cohesive team offense. Same thing on defense, but Loyola looks sharp. I mean, mid-season sharp.
The Hounds will travel to College Park to take on Maryland this weekend. Little flip play out of the timeout. It's Garrett Degnan on the receiving end, and just some aggressive sliding from Towson on the feed from Brooks English. Hopkins, well-placed timeout, pays dividends with the Degnan goal.
Towson called timeout prior and scored a goal. This time you have a defender who's ball watching a little bit. He's staring upfield, and Degnan sees it, and look at him move his feet. He slips the defender. He sneaks back door. You're reading your defender constantly as an offensive player, and you're reacting to their posture. That time the defender kind of leaned upfield like he was going to slide and double team, and Degnan said, you want to go that way, I'm going to go the opposite way. And it was an easy little dish inside.
Logan Callahan wins the ensuing face-off. Hopkins looking to establish a little bit of distance between them and the Towson Tigers. 5 apiece in the face-off department. Degnan, a second-team All-Big Ten performer in 2023. Getting on track here this afternoon. Casey McDermott being hounded by Joe Meidling, the short-stick D-midi for Towson. Dan Riley now hunkering down to play some defense. Downs looked like he kicked it away. Melendez fakes the shot, pulls it back. 3 saves for Luke Downs, starting goaltender for the Towson Tigers.
That one will leave a mark on a cold day playing with shorts on.
That would hurt me.
It's about 42 degrees out here, man. Woo. Sun's going to go down off to our left. As you see now the shadows on the field.
Dylan Bauer draws a double. McDermott rears back, fires and scores. Casey McDermott with the worm burner. Hopkins doubling up Towson.
Bauer's dishing again, Dixie. Dylan Bauer's got 3 assists, and I think Casey McDermott, there you take a look at the senior. He's a really, really good athlete from the Rochester area. 12 points last year, 8 points in 2022. His value to me, his speed, because he can draw slides. I think ultimately he's going to be used as a two-way guy. I think Hopkins needs some help in the middle of the field. He can play on the wings of faceoffs. He can play really good defense, and he can contribute against mismatches on offense. I think he's a valuable part, Casey McDermott. But I think his role needs to be tweaked a little. Make him a two-way guy. Have him log some shifts on D to O.
Hopkins now 2 goals in a minute, 2 seconds. McDermott, a good-looking athlete. He's been injured throughout his career. Missed a few games, missed 5 games last year, as a matter of fact. And had 11 points in his last 7 games. When healthy, he is a threat. But I like what you're saying about his
because you look at so many of the Hopkins midfielders, they're just offensive players.
Right.
Like, you don't want Dylan Bauer caught on defense. You don't want Hunter Chauvet caught on defense. You don't want Jonathan Peshko caught on defense. McDermott's a guy who can be a viable option to play a little transition up and down, old school, two-way midfield.
Without question. Downs fights off that shot from Jimmy Ayers. And then Towson does a great job of running the ball out, shield it. They get possession back. This is Bars.
Don't stop. Nice job. Good handle there. Bars is a potential pro. Weddington, North Carolina, the Warriors, teammates with James and Will Shipley. It's a really good program outside of Charlotte.
Yeah, Bars, a 2023 All-CAA first-team performer. Is the CAA preseason defensive player of the year. He's going to dental school next year, Quint.
Yeah, he wears the CB30 patch as well, the tribute patch to Carl Biernick, the former Tiger defender.
Incredible honor. He just found that out yesterday, that he would be wearing that patch for the 2024 season. Hopkins, a very active clear. They get it over the midfield line. And just under 6 minutes left to go here in the second quarter, looking for more. Brendan Grimes dodging downhill, gets to that left hand, shot goes wide. Looks like Melendez almost forgot to back that thing up behind the cage. He does, and retains possession for the Blue Jays.
Grimes is like an 18-wheeler coming downhill. He is a load.
Angeles.
We get a switch.
Yeah.
So Angeles has got a shorty now. What do you do if you're Towson? Ready to help.
Melendez winds up, shoots, and Downs makes a nice save.
Good stop by Downs, stick side. He sees that all the way into his cross. He gets down on it.
And he gobbled up that rebound, too. It was popping out, and he was able to snare it for his 5th save of the contest. DeMeo with his hands in the air. Towson in the second quarter so far, Quint, 2 shots and 4 turnovers. They really haven't been able to establish a rhythm on the offensive end of the field. Jamison Gaskins, 6'4" senior out of Edgewater, Maryland. He combines with Austin Ducommon, 6'4" and 6'5". A lot of beef out there for Towson. Over the head check, Carson Brown takes the lunch money of the Towson Tigers. Here come the Blue Jays. Aviles leading the breakout trail. Good thing, timeout. Oh, it's an offside. I thought it was a timeout as Quentin Kilrain lost that ball in the sun. Offsides on the Blue Jays. Too many white jerseys looking to get into the offensive flow. Nine turnovers for Towson. That was Hopkins' 8th miscue of the first half. First midfield unit checking back in for Towson.
They go back to Weishauer, one in yellow or gold, or this guy right here, Josh Weber. They're your best initiators, your best party starters, because they can draw double teams.
There is that double team draw. Erlin did a great job of getting down low, saving the Weishauer opportunity. His 3rd save for our Erlin.
His best save of the day, and that's one Mikey probably wants back. He's a natural lefty. It was with his offhand.
Chavette, Brooks English. And it looks like Cullison waiting to get into the offense here for the Blue Jays.
Kilrain is setting a pick right here to try to gain an advantage on the sub. And they do.
They've got it. Uneven situation here. Cullison winds up shot. Just goes wide. Nice little cat and mouse by Quentin Kilrain.
Yeah, you know, we didn't see that in the Denver game. And you think about playoff games last year, league title games, like the sub portion becomes important because you can create an advantage or you can create a matchup advantage by pinning offensive personnel on the field. Teams that need to invest in that early offense and that sub game.
Angeles swings it over. Dylan Bauer, he's had great vision being guarded by Spagnoli. Now he earns the shorty matchup with Ray Glass of Towson.
Play him as a passer then if you're Towson. Don't send the double and see if he can beat you.
They do send the double. Nice slide by Spagnoli. Disrupts that rhythm. And there's a shot clock violation. Good defense by the Towson Tigers to force that 82nd exhaustion. Hopkins doesn't get a shot off on Cage. Reese Potter slaloms through the Hopkins ride. Gets it up to Villagomez.
Villagomez and DeMeo have been spectators in this first half. Villagomez, a really good righty shooter from mid-range on the wing. DeMeo, Towson's leading scorer from returning scorer, correct? 50 points a year ago.
29 goals. Villagomez, 27. Weber facing all kinds of pressure. Gets it up. 35 seconds to shoot for Towson. Weishauer, short stick matchup against Brett Martin, one of the best in the Big Ten. Nice skip pass to DeMeo with his hands free. Shoots and it trickles in. Looks like Erlin got a piece of it, but DeMeo had just enough pepper on it to have it cross the goal line. First shot of the game for DeMeo. And Quint,
there you go.
We were talking about it.
Yeah.
And there he is.
He was camped out on the near side of the field. This is a brilliant pass. Who is this? Is this Weishauer?
Weishauer.
What a skip pass through traffic. DeMeo's able to size it up. Goes with the overhand bouncer. And watch how this ball ricochets. Erlin gets just a piece of it, and somehow it angles into the twine. But man, Mikey Weishauer won with that pass while running full speed down the alley through traffic, sets up DeMeo.
Weishauer, the number 14 overall recruit from the 2022 graduating high school class according to Inside Lacrosse. Give and go. That one way off the mark, but Towson, that last goal by DeMeo has given them a little bit of adrenaline. Weishauer, a member of the CAA All-Rookie team last year.
The fans are firing it up, man. These fans in mid-season form. Towson's bench is livid. This place is great.
Something special about Homewood Field, especially on a Tuesday afternoon with Towson and Hopkins tangling. Weishauer was open, little hitch move, and we have a timeout call by Sean Nattle, and thought Weishauer was going to get into trouble. Saves the possession. A minute, 1 second left to go in the first half. 55 seconds left on the shot clock. We'll have the women's basketball matchup of the night between two ACC schools. Thursday at 6 Eastern on ESPN and the app. Number 12, Notre Dame, takes on 15th ranked Louisville. Cardinals and the Fighting Irish getting after it this Thursday at 6 o'clock. Right now, Hopkins and Towson getting after it. So what, 61 seconds left in the game clock, 55 seconds left in the shot clock. What are you thinking strategy-wise for Towson coming out of this timeout?
I think it's pretty clear right now for the Tigers. Mikey Weishauer, number 1 in gold, or Josh Weber, number 12 in gold. Those are going to be your best initiators, the guys you want to start the play with. They can draw a double team. The question is, what do you want to do then? You want to kick it to X behind the net and attack the weak side or the inside, or do you want to have them in a position where they're looping it across the top to the weak side? So again, offensive identity. We're in week 1 really of the season. So this is new for all these teams. Hopkins has only shown man-to-man defense this year. They have not shown any zone. I don't expect them to switch things up off that timeout.
Towson opening up obviously right now with Hopkins. They will play Mount St. Mary's in their home opener this weekend. Johns Hopkins, meanwhile, will travel to Georgetown in D.C. on Saturday to tangle with the Hoyas.
Swamp Dogs. Interesting that Hopkins has bumped Scott Smith, 18, their close defender, up to cover Weishauer.
Best on best, wouldn't you say? Yeah, Smith.
And the appropriate move, smart move.
So Towson looks like they are going to hang out for a little bit. Josh Weber.
Weber's got a shorty, he just needs space.
He's got a quick first burst too. He can make something happen if you overplay him. Chop Gallagher being hounded by Patrick Deans. Long stick midi for the Blue Jays. DeMeo, roll back to Weishauer. Heads up, 6 seconds to shoot on the shot clock. 12 and a half left on the game clock. Villagomez gets a weak shot off. Actually had a little bit of juice to it. Shot clock expires, and Hopkins holds defensively on that stand.
Send it towards the goal now, right away. You got 6 seconds. Good things can happen. If you're a Towson defender, take arms. Let your goalie play this ball. But everyone in Hopkins should be crashing the crease.
Smith with the Hail Mary. It's going to go over the head of Dylan Bauer. Clock expires, and that'll do it for the first 30 minutes of lacrosse between Johns Hopkins and Towson. Kind of what we expected, right? In terms of
I'll be interested to see which team here can find a way to run and create some explosion.
Logan Callahan doing quite well against the all-conference performer in Constantinitis. And Callahan wins that one clean to himself, soaking some checks, getting it out of harm's way and into the stick of Garrett Degnan to begin a possession.
Callahan had 12 wins out of 23 draws against Denver, which is slightly above 50%. I thought, considering that he was facing Alex Stathakis, I thought it was a really bright effort. And so he looked strong to start this season.
And I think coming into the season, that was something that was looked at as maybe an Achilles heel of Johns Hopkins. But Callahan is, it's only been a game and a half, but he's acquitted himself quite well.
Yeah, I agree. Matt Naruski graduates
Shot. Downs with the save.
So when you look at the Hopkins face-off unit, you had Naruski face-off man, he's gone. Alex Mazzone, 80 ground balls, he's gone. Hawley, the wing specialist, he's gone. It's like 130 ground balls, graduated.
Downs with his 6th save of the contest. That was not a bad look for Johns Hopkins. Downs seems to be settling in. New goaltender for Towson here in 2024, taking over for the now graduated Evan Long.
Yeah, and Downs has been in a positional battle with Matt Nyland, who's a redshirt freshman, good-looking 6'2". Those guys have been going back and forth.
Cross crease feed snagged by Erlin. Here comes Hopkins with the run-out opportunity.
They got numbers here if they push. Follow it with a trailer. You got a trailer.
Zulik begging for it. Gets it. Petro lays lumber. Jaronsky with the cut. So Hopkins had that transition opportunity, pulled up a little bit, hit the trailer, but unfortunately it was a defenseman who doesn't have a lot of points in his career with a 70 inches of titanium. Ball caroms off of the official. Weishauer playing some defense and picking up a tough ground ball in the defensive end. Hopkins bench saying that he stepped on the sideline to be out of bounds. Downs doesn't recognize the pressure from Angeles. 10 seconds to clear for Towson. That's why you're paid. Be a midi. You got to beat the attackman. Nice ride by Melendez, but
oh wow!
Little rolling dervish right there.
An obstacle course. A forward roll with the pill.
That's a wrestling move right there, right? To get out of the front headlock, you roll forward.
Keeping possession. Is that Meidling, 28?
Joe Meidling, a converted Fogo. So he's used to getting grimy.
That was some kind of play.
Nice ride from Melendez, doing everything he can to keep him from crossing the midfield line. Chop Gallagher that sails one wide, and Towson will retain possession.
13, Chop Gallagher, good look at him. Really experienced. Chanchito, born 10-pound baby that his parents nicknamed Chanchito.
Wow.
Which is a little pork chop. And that pork chop has become Chop. His real name, Calder Stark Gallagher.
Shot Erlin with the save.
I like Chop.
We've got a chop of our own at Johns Hopkins, right? Billy Evans, the pork chop.
That's not a real name. That's a nickname.
Sure. And Chop Gallagher. Gallagher, he's a nice player.
He is. Senior from Portland.
Put on 10 pounds of muscle in the offseason. You can see he does have that long frame to get his stick back, but he can hit you and then get inside with that extra strength. He'll play some attack as well. We haven't seen him or Weishauer on attack. Collison with a rip.
Wow.
Corralled by Downs.
Made it look easy. That ball was moving.
7th save for the junior out of Sykesville, Maryland. He only played 3 games in 2023, and Downs has really settled down from the late second quarter up until now.
2 years ago, he started against Hopkins.
Yeah.
2022. Played for the Crabs, Luke Downs, studying cyber security.
That's a good one. Gallagher being met by Brett Martin, short stick D midi. Hopkins being a lot more cognizant of number 12's mileage in this game. Weishauer with a bullet. Erlin, clean save, his 5th of the contest.
I like the run out and the quick outlet. Towson does a good job of getting in the hole now. They got offensive personnel caught on the field here. Let's see if the Blue Jays can capitalize by keeping Gallagher on.
And they do. No flag flies. A collision in front of the cage, and this doesn't look good for Johns Hopkins. Angeles actually looks like he's going to shake it off.
Scott Smith, pole goal. Dixie, watch this after he takes this shot. I think Towson got away with one because I think they pile on Smith after the shot. Smith gets inside leverage on Gallagher. Watch what happens after he buries this. Right there's a hit. and then they land on his head. Again, shot, clean, maybe a little high.
Yeah, that's a potential.
But they land on it. Look, you see Gallagher piles on him, and he's got to be peeled off. No call.
Well, maybe Gallagher, I mean, look, maybe he had the wind knocked out of him. I'm not quite sure. But no call. And that was a very similar hit to what Scott Smith delivered to Denver on Saturday. Used the shoulder, but there was helmet-to-helmet contact there. No flag, but Scott Smith gets the goal.
Scott Smith is a proven commodity. You know, he's one of the top defenders in the country.
Nice look from Weishauer. Good handle by DeMayo. Fought away by Erlin. Hopkins is on the run once again.
It's a nice run out by Jackson Raposo, 20 and white. Again, we talked earlier about how Juronsky, 77, and Martin, 12, can't play every shift. Well, there's Jackson Raposo logging his shift, making a good ground ball play, and being decisive. You know, you get that ball in the slot area, just put on the afterburners. Space is your friend, and he uses his wheels.
Fresh midfield unit checking in for Johns Hopkins. Ryan Evans, the trail. Shot looks like it didn't make it to the cage. That was Quint Kilrain. Freshman out of Purcellville, Virginia. And here come the Tigers.
Game has opened up a bit, it feels like, tempo-wise.
Definitely more helter-skelter and frenetic than it was in the first 30 minutes. DeMayo takes the air out of the ball for Towson, second midfield unit checking in for the Tigers. This is where you got to look at the midfield depth. Towson been running probably 75% of the time that first midfield line. Hopkins running a lot of bodies.
This group has got some beef with Towson. Gaskins goes 6'4", 225. Ducommon goes 6'5".
Kilrain hounding Gaskins. Roussel, he scored the first goal of the game for Towson. Feed out front, rolls away harmlessly. DeMayo is able to corral it. Feed inside, nice turn shot. It goes wide. Marcelo Arteaga, number 48 in white, another short stick D-midi, Quint. So 5 guys have gotten run in this game at the short stick position for the Blue Jays. DeMayo lets it rip. It goes wide, 10 seconds. 9 now on the shot clock for Towson. The Rooster, feed up top to DeMayo. Behind the back, it goes nowhere. And he throws it into the corner. Shot clock violation against Towson. Towson has missed their last 9 shots, Quint.
Potential meme for behind the back shots right there.
There's a shot on goal. It just misses. Erlin almost got himself in the scoring column. Big defensive stand right now if you're Towson. Trailing by 3. Hopkins has seized the momentum back.
It's great ID by Erlin, because Towson hasn't shown any 10-man all day.
Right.
And finally they rolled into it there for the first time, and he's cognizant, he reads it and takes a chance.
Degnan, nice save by Downs. He read that one all the way, mirrored the stick of big number 40 in white, makes a clean save. Towson now.
Oh,
referee gets drilled. And there's a Hopkins player down.
Wow. That was unfortunate. I've never seen that happen the way it just did on the far side.
Dylan Bauer, the Blue Jay who pops up after initially being shaken up.
That is unfortunate. We talked about it earlier. You got 3 referees. They're trying to work this 110-yard field. They're in the action, and sometimes you just don't see this. Watch the collision, far side. Loose ball.
Yeah, Bauer's trying to make a play. The official's just trying to get out of the way, get upfield to get in position.
Head on a swivel, right?
Big time. And the cone is your friend as an official, especially when you're the single side like that. If you're below midfield, find the cone, run to the cone. Shot to score, Chop Gallagher. Feed for Mikey Weishauer. Weishauer, a product of offensive guru Torrey Casemeyer and his Got Skills clinics. And he has his second helper, and Big Chop finds the back of the cage.
If you're Towson, you're scrapping, you're fighting, just keep chopping. For, I don't know, 4 or 5 years when we played for the Green Turtle team. What an amazing teammate he was. This was a guy who would show up for the most mundane practice and always have the most positive attitude. And he'd bring joy to everything we did there, even in the tough and gritty moments of this game. And Carl always rubbed me as like the ultimate teammate.
Sorely missed, passed away a few years ago. Carl Biernick, also a graduate of my high school, Loyola Blakefield. He was a senior when I was a freshman. We never played together, but years later we both worked at T. Rowe Price. Not directly, but that's where I got to know him, and what a great guy. And a shot and a score. Great look from Russell Melendez. He finds Jacob Angeles underneath, and Hopkins with a quick reply to the Towson Tigers.
Angeles has got the hat trick. You see the positional versatility there on display by Melendez. He's a natural attackman, but he's operating and he's dealing from the top of the box. When we talk about the positionless nature of this offense, that's an example that you go to. These are offensive players who have they got their home spot, so to speak. But the system makes it imperative that they can attack the goal from up top, from the wings, or behind. And you see Melendez as a distributor from the top of the box.
Logan Callahan showing weight room right there, digging the ball out of that face-off scrum. Deans gets a step inside, over to Melendez, rocket! Hopkins, 2 goals in a very short period of time. Momentum back on the side of the Blue Jays.
Fans on their feet from the face-off. They're loving the action. Watch this. This is a long tie-up now that somehow becomes imbalanced. You always got to think field balance in these scrums, because when it kicks out, you'll see Callahan does a wonderful job. How gritty and tough is he? And right now he's off to the races. All 3 Towson defenders on this side of the field. Deans is decisive. He draws 2. Melendez is able to hop step, croak, hop, and get the full velocity on that. Hopkins' bench just erupts.
2 goals in 21 seconds. Melendez with the low to high heat. Roofs it. Hopkins with now a 4-goal advantage.
Those are your dream shots, aren't they, Mark?
Absolutely.
When you,
hands-free,
kind of
stepping into it.
Moving downhill towards the goal from 10 with nothing in your way. You know,
nope.
No vision and no defenders or traffic in the way.
And in your head, you hear the crowd go silent until you snap it.
Melendez chooses to go low to high. You know, he drops down. The goalie's kind of got to honor that.
You figured Melendez was going to respond after a tough game against Denver on Saturday, where he only had a goal and an assist. He has come to play and he has produced. This is Josh Weber. Draws a quick slide over to Weishauer. His first midfield unit for Towson, digging back in after trimming the Hopkins lead to 7-5. Looks like that caromed off of a Hopkins defenseman. 17 seconds to shoot. Gallagher gets his hands free, elects not to shoot. Finds where the mismatch is. Smith gets a stick on it. Good defense by Hopkins. Shot clock violation as the ticker hits 0. Good job by Scott Smith knocking that feed down. 12th turnover for the Towson Tigers. Kilrain, nice no-look pass. Angeles with the behind the back goes wide. Melendez runs it out of bounds.
Right idea, just ugly execution.
I thought Kilrain was going to shoot that. Freshman, pole, down the heart of the Towson defense. That their time he's unselfish. Angeles cannot convert. Jimmy Ayers against a defense of Ray Glass. Nice look, Chevette tucks it near post. A BB from number 34 in white.
He ain't no Chevette, that's more like a Porsche. He gets his feet set, man. This guy can light it up 3 times. Look at that motion. Ryan Brown, former Hopkins player, similar to torque from the hips. The follow through, a little bit like Kevin Huntley maybe also.
A little bit, yeah. Quick release, Kalmar, shades of Kalmar from that lefty spot.
Preferring the low to high variety.
Melendez, hitch move.
Towson on the ropes now. This is a really important possession here. This game's getting away from them.
This is transition opportunity if they push. Nice handle by Morin, and then sloppy pass to Villagomez.
That's a killer.
13th turnover for Towson. And that's really an unforced error right there, too, in the middle of the field.
That's a stinger.
Hopkins with a couple of spectacular shots, courtesy of Melendez and then Chevette to take a 10-5 advantage, their biggest lead of the game, doubling up the Towson Tigers.
Think about their loss to Denver on Saturday and all the benefits that'll come with that. The lessons. Right now, it's going to be one of them over these last 17 minutes. Something they can carry the rest of the season, Mark. Finish.
Grimes.
You play all 60.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. You know, they've been here before in a 4 or 5 goal-ish game.
And that loss was so bad, it sticks with you.
It does.
And they will carry that with them the rest of the season. And it could be a long-term benefit. They have to make it a long-term benefit. That's only your choice as an athlete.
Yeah, that's it. And luckily for Hopkins, it was not the last game of the season. They can do something about it. Garrett Degnan, head of steam. Towson, nice ice pick over the head. Beautiful job. Reese Potter, graduate out of Brighton, Michigan. Watch out, Villagomez. Quint Kilrain. I'll take that back.
Really good player, 6 and white. I saw it in their scrimmage against UMBC. He's a freshman. He can just play at college speed already. You can see it in everything he does.
Was a Syracuse commit, then flipped to Johns Hopkins. Spent his prep career at Lawrenceville playing for John Posner and Tucker Meeser up north. And he is a good one. Jimmy Ayers. Feed behind the cage. Looks like Towson in a zone right now, or at least no one guarding behind the cage. Curl behind the back. English is not there. Ball's loose.
Nice hustle by Ayers.
Elijah Smith with a slap check on Ayers.
You know, all these players watched the Syracuse-Colgate game last night at 6 o'clock on the ACC network or the app.
Royal Rumble in that game.
I'm watching it at the dinner table, and I get it from my daughter. I get, Daddy, this is a no phone zone. So I'm like hiding it in my pocket trying to watch. But the behind the backs that you saw in that game by Syracuse executed. Well, Hopkins is like, this game is 0 for 3 in behind the backs. So for all the glory that the behind the back passes got in that game, and all the love they get on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, we've had 3 awful behind the backs in this game, Kark.
Yeah. Shot from Weishauer goes wide, backed up by the Tigers. 14 seconds left to play here in the third quarter. A third quarter that has been dominated by Johns Hopkins. After Towson made it a 7-5 game, Hopkins has scored 3 unanswered. Less than 10 seconds. Villagomez gets it away up top. It's DeMeo. One more to chop Gallagher. Gallagher looking for the cutter Weber. They cannot connect. Ball rolls out of bounds. Clock hits zeros, and we are through 3 quarters of lacrosse here at Homewood Field. Can Hopkins close it out? Stick around. Momentum on the side of the Blue Jays.
And it's just an amazing, gorgeous campus.
I was on campus this past Friday night for the first time in a long time, attending the Smoker, walking across, and you just can't help but feel the beauty of the campus and how fortunate I was and you were to attend a place like this. And a lot of construction still going on outside the Shriver Quad.
Flag down. McDermott making things happen off the wing. Now a second penalty.
Hidden ball trick. McDermott had downs fooled. He didn't see that ball coming, but it goes wide. We'll take a minute to sort out the flags.
McDermott playing with good juice tonight off the wings of the faceoff.
Way to go. We need a
I like what I'm seeing from the Hopkins veterans.
Both against goal. Goal 28 cross check, 1 minute. Goal 26, offsides, 30 seconds. Please reset shot clock to 80.
So it's a cross check against Towson.
The tough game right here. The tough game.
And then an offside. So Towson, 2 men down.
The tough game. You watched that Colgate-Syracuse game last night. Whew, there was some vicious hitting. Don't forget, this game it's rough. It's not for everybody.
Hopkins looking to continue the momentum. Extra man opportunity. Nice skip pass. Melendez with his arms free. Nice save by Downs.
Downs.
He looks good.
He does. He was all over that. You know, we've seen him make some stops up top, Mark. That one was really good. Top hand speed.
9 saves for the junior out of Sykesville, Maryland. Towson, though, the inability to clear from defense to offense. The first penalty has expired, so Hopkins is now 1 man up. Fake shot. What a bunch of heat. Chavette, that release, it comes flying out of his stick. Hopkins still up. They benefit from the referee took one of their guys out earlier. That one kept the ball in bounds. Teams are back to even strength. Nice shot, Chavette.
Wow, guess who? You can just see it. It feels different.
Range and accuracy. Chavette with his second. This one dialing up from long distance.
It's a scary formation if you're Towson, because up top you're staring down Garrett Degnan, 40 in white, who's got a howitzer, and he decides to dish it to his young freshman running mate, Hunter Chavette, wearing 34, 3 goals on Saturday. He's not a Dodger, but man, that release is something special. The big shot, the velocity. Freshman who grew up in Ohio.
His brother Cam, a teammate of his, a senior here for Johns Hopkins. Hunter, originally a Yale commit, flipped to Johns Hopkins later in the process.
Callahan continues to just grind his way at the faceoff dot for Hopkins.
Winning his last 6. We haven't seen much of Tyler Dunn in this young season, and you know the importance of another ricochet, but the importance of having at least 2 photos.
Yeah, it's really it. I mean, every coach we talk to, you know, the wear and tear of the season, teams play, I don't know, a dozen, 15 games. Nice to have Dunn, who's kind of an ideal number 2 guy, change of pace.
DeMayo gets out of traffic. About 3 or 4 white jerseys converged on number 7 in gold. Gets it over to Weishauer.
Good matchup.
Good matchup, yeah.
For him.
Dylan Bauer stuck on defense. Weber drawing a pole.
Weishauer still has the shorty.
Yeah, get the ball right back to him.
Throw the ball to number 1 in goal. Now Hopkins finally switches.
Errant pass. Was it tipped? It was not. Turnover to Johns Hopkins. Nothing going right for Towson since they scored that 5th goal. 16th turnover of the night. Another shot on the 10-man, backed up by the Blue Jays. Melendez looking for the quick restart.
I think the next stage in that 10-man, Mark, as another flag is down, is you're going to see teams bait that shot. It goes out of bounds, and then you press out before the clearing team has their offensive personnel on. So you double the ball on the end line off that long shot.
Right.
Before, let's say in this case, Hopkins has all their offensive personnel on that field. So you entice the long shot, then you trap on the inbounds.
Good strategy. And that's been up for discussion for the rules committee with those long shots.
Yes.
Are they shots?
Goal, 48, illegal procedure, 2-man man in the field, 30 seconds. 60-second shot.
Well, that's your best ride, the 11-man ride.
That's right. Sneak that other body on there. And teams will do that. Teams will hide a guy at the box, and they'll have someone step over, and then, you know, as we talked about, one of the many challenges of officiating is counting all those bodies, especially around that populated substitution area.
Many times on a 10-man ride, teams go off sides.
Absolutely.
And it goes unseen.
Another shot by Chavette. Johns Hopkins has managed this game thus far much better than the 4th quarter of the Denver game this past Saturday. Some penalties will help. Degnan. That was a beautiful release. Caught Downs leaning. And the lead for Johns Hopkins is now up to 7.
5 straight goals by the Blue Jays. Remember, this was a 7-5 game early in the 3rd. Degnan from distance. DeMatha product, high school class of 2018. He may be one of the oldest Blue Jays in program history, given multiple years. As a guy, when he was in high school, who dealt with some setbacks. He had mono one summer, he caught salmonella, and was hospitalized and lost 25 pounds another summer. But all the while, he and his dad, who was Air Force, played at Air Force and a pilot, they trained in the backyard, and he developed that shot. Recruited by Coach Petramala, and I thought he made a big shift, Garrett did, from his freshman to sophomore year in changing his body and becoming more than just a shooter.
He was good in that abbreviated 2020 season. We're kind of like, who is this guy? You know, he showed range, he showed strength. Kind of an unknown quantity on the recruiting trails because of the reasons that you mentioned. You know, the illness and other things that kept him out of the spotlight. Nice play by the Towson
nice
defender.
Hustle by Melendez.
Yeah, Spagnoli.
Look at this, this is nice.
Wow,
great hustle.
Chop Gallagher gets chopped down at the midfield line, and he is shaken up a bit. Hopkins is showing
aggressive
energy and aggressiveness that wasn't here in the 4th quarter against Denver.
Well, remember, at this stage of the Denver game, they were still up 3 or 4 goals.
Right.
It hadn't hit the fan yet, so to speak.
Towson, their 17th turnover of the night. Degnan with a hat trick in this game. There you take a look at the action in the left-hand corner.
Be a player of action. Look, Melendez sniffs that out. He's aggressive, and that ultimately earns his possession because it provides time. And next thing you know, he's got help. He's got a squadron of guys. Always flow to the lacrosse ball. You know, if in doubt, be the 3rd man into those scraps.
Hopkins playing very comfortable right now, very loose, spinning the ball, keeping it hot. 10 seconds to shoot. Feed, Degnan shot. Looks like Downs did not get a piece of that. No signal of the shot clock reset. 5 left to shoot for the Blue Jays. They will toss it in the corner, regroup, and ride Towson, who has to get something going if they want to have any shot of a Pioneer-like comeback in this last 8.5 minutes. Saturday, Michigan travels to Virginia. See that one noon on the ACC network. You're really looking forward to that game.
Chris Cotter and I have that call. Michigan returns a lot off a team that won the Big Ten championship and won a playoff game. Virginia, a national semifinalist. You get to see Connor Schellenberger and McCabe Millen's debut for the Cavaliers. Should be high scoring.
Yeah.
Should be close.
And it'll be interesting at the face-off dot where Michigan returns Justin Wheatfeld. Virginia needs to replace Petey LaSala, who took hundreds of draws during his time in Charlottesville. DeMayo gets those arms back and eaten up by Erlin.
Good save by Erlin, who has not seen much action, and sometimes on a cold night that can be difficult to manage, but he stays sharp. It was a good stop, good rebound control.
7 saves on the night for the graduate student transferred in from Cornell. Being pushed by Jack Webb, a good-looking junior goaltender, the number 2 right now on the Hopkins goalie depth chart. It's got to feel good for Erlin. That was a tough end of the game for him on Saturday. He's made several nice saves here as of late. Collison, though.
Yeah, he's shown great maturity. You know, all he can do as a goalie, Dixie, I think, is just focus on the next shot, the next save. That's all you got. You know, win or loss. Like it's the next save that matters most in this game. You know, you're always trying to look forward.
Yeah, and that's hard to do a lot.
Absolutely. You got to own it. You got to try to make sure it doesn't happen again. You got to work, put yourself in a position, and then just look forward. The next save matters most. The next play matters most.
Weber under the watchful eye of number 77, Joronsky, for Johns Hopkins. So this is a Blue Jay team. This holds. It's going to even their record at 1-1, and they take a trip down to DC to take on a Georgetown Hoya team looking to get on track in 2024 after losing 18-10 to Loyola this past weekend. Smith with the ground ball pickup.
I watched that game. You were at that game, but I watched it on Monday night on the app. Jordan Ray was outstanding for the Hoyas. Graham Bundy Jr. I thought was forcing things and kind of struggled in his shooting. TJ Haley, a dangerous passer. Georgetown has the parts. I think they just got to come together as a team. I didn't see the connectivity that you want to see. But again, it's early in the season.
Yeah, say goodbye to a lot of their scoring from a year ago. And also defensively, when you lose guys like Will Bowen and James Donaldson,
yeah,
big shoes to fill on that side of the ball. Another flag down.
Towson's got too many on the defensive end right now.
Yeah, 7 gold jerseys playing defense right now for the Tigers. I like the flow of this Hopkins offense, how fast they move the ball, how quick they make their decisions.
1-3, offsides, 30 seconds. Shot clock, 60 seconds.
Talk about midseason form. Peter Hollywood Buchanan.
He didn't give us the double. He didn't give us the second time through.
It's cold. He wants to get out of here.
I think he saves that for big network games.
30 seconds.
Anytime he knows John Kettering's producing, he's gonna give it the 2-time.
Pete, one of the good guys out there.
he had that Loyola Georgetown game on Saturday. They had two video reviews.
Got it right. Yeah, on both occasions. One was a challenge from Charlie Toomey, and as a shot, jeez, guess who? Woo. Hunter Chavette with a vapor trail out of that left-handed windup. 13th goal for Hopkins.
You got two big guns up top with Degnan and Chavette. And when these young men can step in about 15 yards, grip it and rip it, man, you're talking about liquid smoke. You can't see it, you can't save it.
This spring is the perfect time to get away with a great deal on your favorite Hyundai model. All backed by America's best warranty, plus 3 years or 36,000 miles of complimentary maintenance. Add more joy to your journey at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Get in and get away now before these deals are gone. Lease an all-wheel drive Tucson for $229 a month or get 0% APR or up to $1,500 bonus cash. Hurry, offers end 2/29.
Introducing a symphony of new possibilities at Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. With live craps, roulette, and sports betting alongside our classic ensemble of slots, blackjack, and baccarat. Discover a new era. Discover your rhythm.
Peter Milliman for the Johns Hopkins Blue Jays looking on as we take a peek at our game summary. And you like that sweatshirt, Quint.
Hat tricks by Angeles, Degnan, and Chavette. I love that sweatshirt with the old school Neil Grauer Hopkins logo. I wish they had that in the middle of the field. Look at that little guy.
You and me both.
And then you got that corporate-looking Toronto Blue Jay thing out there.
You just made the list, buddy. Like what list?
I'm on that list. There'll be no parking. I'll have to park up at
you have to park at the Rotunda.
I'll have to take the
shuttle over.
Take the bus down on Charles Street from Friends School.
Nothing better than a Nag Blue Jay, Neil Grauer.
That sweatshirt, I love it. Is that a bookstore item, Dixie? That Milliman has there, or is that a lacrosse only?
I would imagine the latter if I was a gambling man.
Gosh, it's a great looking sweatshirt.
New goaltender for Johns Hopkins is Jack Webb, Jr. out of Baltimore. Grew up just a couple blocks from here.
Right over our right shoulder, he grew up in Charles Village. Incredible story.
DeMeo with the feed, whip shot, Webb save. That was Bodie Maurer.
Webb is so light on his feet, man. He's like a bug. He just floats.
Makes a beautiful save on that one. Here comes Hopkins with a slow break.
Really bouncy. Not easy on a night like tonight. Temperatures now below 40 degrees. Sunset off to our left. You come off cold off the pines. BK gives you a little warm up, but man, he makes that stop. It's got to feel good.
So Towson, first time we've seen the Tigers here in 2024. Your impressions of this Tiger ball club?
I think there's a lot to build on. I love Mikey Weishauer. Chop Gallagher played well. I think Josh Weber's got to be a key part of their offense. I think Villa Gomez and the shooter Nick DeMeo can have success if those other guys are dodging. Defense has been sturdy, quite honestly. I think Hopkins has a top 5 offense this year. They'll be a challenger in the CAA. Like Delaware right now is the king of the CAA. I think Delaware lost just a hair and may come back to the pack. I'd say the next couple teams would be Drexel, Stony Brook, Towson in the mix in the CAA.
Always a tough conference. Physical, gritty. Grimes with the shot. And we're going to have a reset.
You got the additions of Hampton and Monmouth in that league to go along with Seth Tierney's Hofstra squad and Fairfield. I think league battles nationally, Mark, this year are really compelling.
I agree.
Big Ten, Michigan, Penn State, Hopkins, Maryland, ACC, obviously, but even like leagues like the CAA or the Patriot.
Yeah.
Army might be at the top, but Loyola looks pretty darn strong. I know Navy's better.
BU.
Colgate looked
Colgate upset Penn State on the road.
They looked impressive even in defeat last night. They got a plan.
Chop Gallagher's shot. Looks like Webb got a piece of it. Referee does not signal for a reset, however, so it was wide of the cage. Towson retains possession.
League races are the lifeblood of the sport. You know, having big games in April when the weather turns and getting people on campus for rivalry games, that's so important for the sport of lacrosse.
No doubt. Atmosphere is critical. Chop Gallagher backing in. Webb closes the wickets. Denies number 13 in goal. Webby with his second save of the game. Aviles. Hopkins showing some depth with Aviles returning from an injury tonight to get a few shifts. We've seen Ortega out there in addition to Brett Martin, Juronsky, and Raposo. So Hopkins right now running 5 deep at the short 16 mid position. They'll shorten that up as time goes on.
Look, Maryland in 2022 taught us that 4 shorties is the way to go.
Yeah.
Okay? You don't get as tired playing offense. Mark, you know you play offensive midfield, it's no big deal.
Right.
But defensive midfield takes the most gas out of you. It's taxing, it's tiring. And so I think you need 2 groups of 2. Because you can't run Martin and Juronsky out there all season long and expect them to show up in May and play their best.
Without question. Hopkins right now 20 seconds away from their first win of the season. Hopkins holds Towson to only 1 goal in the second half, outscoring the Tigers 7-1. Chop Gallagher with the shot, Webb with the save, and that'll put the exclamation point on Johns Hopkins' first win of the 2024 lacrosse season. Really came to life in the second half. Tip of the cap to all the women, men and women in our technical crew. Johns Hopkins tops Towson. For Quint Kessenich, I'm Mark Dixon. We will see you Saturday.